Bulk food, worth it? Not worth it?
Could go either way.
Hi, if you don't know us, I'm Hope.
And I'm Larry.
This is Under the Median, where every week we talk about practical frugality. When it comes to frugality and your pantry, your food supplies, and even your food budget itself, one of the things that consistently comes up when we start talking about that topic is bulk food. In this video, we'll give you some tips and strategies for having a very good, very positive bulk food buying experience. And we're taking a tour in our kitchen to show you our latest bulk food haul. But before I take you in the kitchen and sit on the floor and show you all the items that I got in our bulk food haul from the Amish community, we have to say that we met some amazing Under the Median viewers. We met the Goheen family. They drove 2.5 hours to meet us at the Amish store, and then we went to a local park and we shared a picnic together. What fun that was.
It's always nice sharing with other people, other like-minded people especially, and we really enjoyed our time with the Goheens. Hope literally sat on the kitchen floor to go through the bulk food buys with you. So this is Hope talking about exactly what we purchased at the Amish store.
We got back from our bulk food haul and I put everything on the kitchen floor. Come, sit on my kitchen floor with me. All right, I had the kids stack all of the large bags against the wall so I could show them to you real easily. What I'm going to do, I have like all of my cheat notes here. I'm going to tell you what we paid for each bag, what's in the bag, what we paid 6 months ago when we last purchased that item, and what it is per pound, and sort of do a comparison as to what I would have to pay for the same item at other stores. Okay, let's take a look. This is 50 pounds of rolled oats. For the 50 pounds of rolled oats, I paid $35. That's 70 cents a pound. And 6 months ago, I paid $38.69 for the same 50-pound bag. So it went down. The price went down from $38.69 6 months ago to $35 last week when we went on our bulk food haul. This is 50 pounds of steel cut oats. The steel cut oats were $34.95. They were 5 cents less than the rolled oats. Who knows why? And yet they were. All right. So the 50 pounds of steel cut oats, $34.95. That's also 70 cents a pound. 6 months ago, they were $37.49. So once again, that price is down by about $3 for the exact same 50-pound bag. Moving along. We have lentils. There are 25 pounds of lentils for $27. That is $1.08 a pound. The closest comparison that I found, Aldi has a pound of lentils for $1.29. That's the Aldi's in our area. Your prices may be different than mine. And you can get a pound of lentils at Dollar Tree for $1.25 a pound. So even with the two cheapest prices that I could find in town per pound, these are less per pound than those prices. Let me just move this forward. Behind that, we have 25 pounds of black beans. The 25 pounds of black beans were $27.50. That's $1.10 a pound. My goal used to be for years, it had to be under $1 a pound for beans or oats or rice. I wanted to make sure under $1 a pound for oats and rice. That was always super easy. And believe it or not, for a long time, it was pretty easy to find beans for $1 a pound or under, but not so much anymore. $1.10 a pound is actually pretty good, especially when you compare it to the fact that Aldi, it's $1.35 for a pound of black beans at Aldi. And 6 months ago, this package was $27.95. So it went down by just about 50 cents for the 25-pound bag. Moving along, we have 25 pounds of white rice. The white rice, I think that's the white rice. Let me look here.
Long grain rice, it says. I
think that's white. I think it's white rice. All right, so white rice. We're going to assume this is white rice, guys. 25 pounds. It was $22. That's 85 cents a pound. At Aldi, it's 82 cents a pound for white rice. And you can get 2 pounds of white rice at Dollar Tree for $1.25, which of course makes it 75 cents a pound. So we actually did pay a little bit more for the rice from the Amish store than we would have paid from from Aldi or Dollar Tree. But when you compare, we paid, let's see, 85 cents a pound for it from the Amish store, and it's 82 cents a pound from Aldi. Honestly, that's close enough. And behind this bag, moving down, there's the brown rice. That is 25 pounds of brown rice. That was $21.50 for that. That comes out to $1.10 a pound as well. No, it doesn't. It's 86 cents a pound. Bad math. 86 cents a pound, guys. Moving on. We have cream of wheat. We used to buy cream of wheat when all 4 boys were home. Yes, we bought 50 pounds of cream of wheat. The people at the Amish store didn't have to do anything. They just took the 50-pound bag off of the truck and put it in our car. But no, now we just get 25 pounds of cream of wheat because we only have 2 boys at home and not 4 boys. 25 pounds of cream of wheat. This is about 12.5 pounds. There were 2 packages this size. We got it for, let me lean over, 69 cents a pound was what we got this cream of wheat for. And then Larry's favorite, guys, popcorn, yellow popcorn. Wait, I'll lean over and I'll just drag it over. Dragging. There we go. He wanted 25 pounds of his favorite yellow popcorn. We got this popcorn for 88 cents a pound. We bought 25 pounds of it to keep Larry happy with his afternoon popcorn snack.
It's one of our only snack foods.
It is Larry's, okay.
It is my treat.
Everybody has to have a vice, all right? For Larry,
popcorn.
It is popcorn, that's it. Popcorn every afternoon. It's not a bad deal. Everything that you see in front of you for all the bulk food, and I forgot to put the popcorn on this list, so for everything but the popcorn. It was, with tax, $187.05 was what we paid for everything. Now, the Amish store is also, by the way, it's also a salvage food store. I'm going to show you just a couple real quick things that were great deals that we got at the salvage food store. Peter Pan crunchy peanut butter. We got the big jars of it. This is 28 ounces. 28 ounces. $2.50. That's pretty good. Tell me if you get peanut butter cheaper than that, will you? I just saw peanut butter on sale at Kroger, though. The 16-ounce jars for 99 cents this week. I'm at 5. Also, we got some barbecue sauce. I've never, ever tried this brand. It's Sours, but hey, it was also $2.50 for a huge thing of barbecue sauce. So for that much money, it was worth trying. I got 2 peanut butters and 2 barbecue sauces. We were also able to get some almond milk and some coconut milk, half-gallon of those, and those were at 99 cents for the half-gallon containers of the 2 plant-based milks. All right, let's head back into the studio, and we're going to talk to you just a little bit about what kind of things you should take into consideration if you think you want to try buying in bulk, if you've already tried in bulk and went, maybe it didn't work out so well for me. We'll give you some tips and strategies to help it be a really great experience for you. All right, let's get down to basics. What does it take to have a really positive bulk food buy? What should you be considering to determine should you buy in bulk or not buy in bulk? Number 1, storage space. Yes, even if you live in a small space, you can still carve out areas underneath of things, around things, behind things. For a long time, when we first got married, we lived in a 550 square foot, 1-bedroom house. You know how many closets it had?
One closet.
One big closet.
And that was in the bedroom. It wasn't even in the kitchen.
And we managed to actually have quite a bit of bulk food on hand, even when we lived in that teeny tiny space. You might have to get creative, but yes, indeed, you can do it. But the question is, you need to look at your space realistically and say, how much food can I fit in this space? Because the worst thing in the world is to overbuy bulk food and then realize I got no place to put it. Budget planning. After you've determined, do I have space to store bulk food? You got to determine, do I have enough space in my food budget for bulk food? This is time for telling the truth with Hope and Larry. Yes. Y'all know that this year in 2023, I decided to do a crazy low grocery budget for 4 people. I decided to keep it at $200 a month.
It wasn't really good. It wasn't a lot of fun, but we did get a lot cleaned out of our freezer and our bulk food and our pantry. So it did have a positive effect.
There was not a huge a fan of my plan for much of the year, though.
Not really.
He was not. He was walking around going, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. All right, number 3, price comparison. You'll notice that when I talked about the bulk food buy, I had my handy dandy cheat sheet. And I told you this is what I would have paid per pound at Aldi or at Dollar Tree, or you have to run the numbers. That's just critical in anything that you're getting ready to purchase in any area of your budget is do the math, do the math, do the math. We talk about that all the time. Do the math and see if what you were looking at in bulk is actually less expensive per ounce or per pound or per liter or whatever your measurement is than what you normally buy.
If you're not saving at least some money by doing the bulk food buying, then it's really not to your advantage to do it. You might as well just go ahead and buy weekly or monthly from your stores that are in your neighborhood.
One of the things that people always ask us, when we talk about bulk food buys is, yeah, but all that money you're spending in gas to get there and get to the Amish store and get back home. All right. The Amish store is about 60 miles from our house, 60-ish miles. We get 50 miles to a gallon with our Prius. It costs us 2 gallons of gas to drive there and drive back. So the cost of gas is negligible when it comes to the amount of money that we are saving by going to the Amish store.
The only cost that we can kind of think about is the cost of time to do it. And it's basically one whole morning and maybe half of an afternoon to make the trip down there. But it's such a fun trip and we enjoy it so much. And frankly, the drive is real pretty. The people that run the store are really nice. They're very nice to work with. It's a very pleasant experience. So all the way around, I would call it a very good thing to do the bulk purchase at the Amish store.
And it helps now that we are retired.
That does help.
Just saying, that does help. All right, number 4, consider your shelf life.
Yes.
In general, some products that are a little bit more processed have a longer shelf life. Let me give you an example. Polished white rice. Not really that good for you, not gonna lie. It's just kind of calorically dense and it just doesn't do a whole lot for you. When compared to brown rice, you got to figure out what you're comparing it to. But it does have a heck of a long shelf life. Brown rice, on the other hand, less processed, has a shorter shelf life. Now, how much shorter that is just depends on how you store it and the storage conditions and what you're storing it in and whether you have oxygen absorbers and all kinds of stuff.
There's a lot of factors.
But here's what we're saying. Before you buy something, know how long it's going to realistically last sitting on the shelf of your pantry. Now, we mentioned a little bit there, just a sec, ideas about storage. We did a whole video on that, on different vessels that you can store things in. And I held up examples, gave you the whole spiel, different ways that you could store bulk food in your pantry and in your storage areas. I'll make sure that video, it's a couple years old, but I'll link it up above, guys, and also put it in the description of the video.
Basically, there's 3 things you need to consider when you're storing food, and that's light. The more light you have coming in, like sunlight, that's going to cause food to deteriorate faster. Moisture is another thing you have to consider. The more moisture you have, the higher the humidity, the less your storage time. And temperature. If your temperature's way up, that will affect the amount of time that you can store things. So light, humidity, and temperature, those are the 3 things that you need to consider when you're storing food.
Now we're talking about your pantry, and of course your pantry is where most likely most of these things are going to be residing and spending their shelf life is in your pantry. If you want a list of 40 items that we highly suggest that you keep on hand in your pantry, you want to get yourself a copy of our free Pantry Stock Up workbook, and it's going to be linked also, guys, in the description of the video.
Another item to consider in terms of bulk food is the quality of the food itself. Is it good enough quality food to be stored for long periods of time? Is it worth the effort of going down and bringing this much food home? If it's the right quality, it is worth it. And our experience with our Amish store is that the quality of the product that we're getting is very high. It's at least as good as what we're finding at Kroger and different stores. It's probably even better in some areas because it's cleaner and it has a lot less additives in it.
One of the things that you're also going to find with bulk food is that sometimes it's the same basic ingredient that is on the shelf. So it's the same item. It's just in bigger quantities because a lot of times these stores cater to restaurants rather than individuals or home use. If that's the case, it's just a bigger bag.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Oh, yeah. Before we move on to the next point we have on stored food, make sure that if this is a helpful video for you, like it. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe. And that way you'll get more similar type of videos coming your way.
Point number 6, frequency of use. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Lean in. If you hate beans, do not stock beans in your working pantry or your emergency pantry or a pantry of any kind in your home. Even if the apocalypse happens, your family will probably not eat beans if they hate them. They will eat anything and everything else except the beans. The beans will be waiting for the zombies when they enter your home. Don't stock beans if you hate them. But if you like beans, beans are a great thing to have on your pantry shelves. And I just used it kind of tongue in cheek, but I used a couple of terms there. Emergency pantry, working pantry. Our pantry is our working pantry.
Yes.
We just happen to have a pretty doggone big pantry. Pre-pandemic, we liked to keep it around 3 months or so. Post-pandemic, I really think, guys, you have to be looking at 5 to 6 months. And I think that's a happy spot for us.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments, you got a food pantry. What are you thinking as far as like how many months that food should or could last you?
Some stores offer membership discounts like Costco and Sam's. Are they worth it if you join? Are you going to save enough money by going there on a regular basis and buying their products once you've paid that membership? That's something you have to kind of look at very carefully.
One of the things that Larry and I always did, because we were Sam's members for a long time, then we weren't.
Yep.
Then we were able to earn a $50 gift card through Fetch, through uploading receipts to Fetch. And so we redeemed our points for a $50 gift card to Sam's. They let us use it for the membership. So basically the membership was free.
That was awesome.
And you know what? Whether we're going there enough to actually like pay ourselves back for that $50, at least that $50 a year in savings, the jury is out. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do it again or if we're maybe going to try Costco next time. Our son got a new job and he's working across the street from Costco. So we're over there dropping him off 4 times a week. So we might do Costco because we're actually in that neck of the woods a little bit more now. I don't know. Membership discounts, worth it, not worth it. Our opinion is, yeah, as long as you're saving at least the amount of the membership every year, probably worth it. We had specific things we always got from Sam's and it was just the basics. The other thing you got to make sure with Sam's and Costco, if you're not buying crap, don't buy just processed foods and all those meals, and you're going to spend a whole lot of money. We used to call Sam's the $100 store because we couldn't get in and out without spending $100.
Pretty much.
If you're buying a lot of that pre-made stuff, you're going to spend a whole lot more money. You're not really saving money, but you'll be spending a whole lot more money than you ever dreamed you would.
Another aspect of storing food is how much freezer space do you have? Now, we added a lot of freezer space when we replaced an old small freezer from the 1970s a few years ago. I think it was only 5 cubic foot. And now I believe we have about a 14.8 cubic foot freezer. It's got a lot of space. But when you get a freezer, now you have the responsibility of inventorying what you have in there, make sure that you're maintaining what you have, know what's in that freezer, and use what you have there. Empty it down so you have adequate freezer space for doing a bulk food run.
Variety. Here's where we tell you that we love oatmeal and cream of wheat. We've eaten it every year for well over a decade for breakfast, 7 days a week. It doesn't bother us.
No, we love it.
But if you are one of those people that says, yeah, I can take oatmeal maybe a couple of times a week, you probably don't want a 50-pound bag because it's going to last you way too long. if you're one of those people that says, I've got to have more variety, you may want to buy in bulk, but buy in much smaller packages rather than a 25 or 50 pound bag, because it's just going to be too much for you. You always got to consider how much is too much.
And if you're not buying what we buy, pretty much cream of wheat and oatmeal, you're going to want some space for those other items. Maybe you're looking at pancakes and other breakfast materials in order to cook from. So you consider that too. If you're not going to use oatmeal and cream of wheat or other things, then you have to allow for what you're going to buy.
Here's one of the things that we do. Here you go, guys. Little simple math. We figured out how many cups of oats were in 1 pound. It's 4 cups, just in case you want to know. 4 cups of oats, 1 pound of oats. That means in that 50 pound bag, there's a whole lot of cups of oats.
Yeah.
We figured out how many breakfasts for us 1 pound of oats would make. All right. So now you know how much is in a pound, how many cups are in a pound, how many meals that 1 pound is going to last you. Using that math, you can multiply that 1 pound of oats by 50 and figure out how many breakfasts that 50 pound bag of oats sitting on the floor of your pantry represents. And remember, that magic number we're looking for is 5 to 6 months.
We've talked about this just a little bit in this video, and that's to look at variety of foods. Sometimes variety can come in just the name brand of an item that you're buying. Another brand might have a totally different taste to it. So try other brands of foods of the same item that you're looking at in order to determine what is the best fit for you and your family.
Packaging size. There is no harm in saying a 50 pound bag is just too big for your family.
Yeah.
Maybe a 25 pound bag is a little more like it. Or maybe you want to do what we call the neighborly thing. We get this question all the time when we talk about bulk buying. I am a single person. I can't buy in bulk. Do you have any friends?
Yeah.
Do you have any family members? Do you have neighbors? Someone that you know would love to split that 25 pound bag of oats. You get 5 people, you each get 5 pounds of oats. Bingo, you're set for a while.
That's right.
You can still take advantage of the low price per ounce. You just split it with enough people that you're able to get the size package that you want. But start off by knowing this is how much I want to end up with. So you know how many people to look for. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to have a 50 pound bag of oats and look for 20 people or something. You want the size bag of oats, let's say 25 pounds, and you're like, if you want 5 pounds, you need 4 other people, right? So you know exactly what you're looking for.
And this can help your friends out too. They may not know that you can buy these foods in bulk, so this could be an eye-opener for them. And the other thing you might want to consider too, if you don't have a real good support group when you're buying these things, sometimes the store itself will just cut an item in half and sell the other half. We did that with cream of wheat this year. Instead of buying their 50 pound pre-made bag, we told them, can you cut that in half and give us 25 pounds? And they just did that for us. So they can do some things as well. So lots of different choices that you can work with there.
And Larry did that too for his popcorn.
Yeah.
Because his mean wife, not me, the mean wife, told him that he already had probably 10 pounds of the popcorn kernels still at home, and maybe he didn't need a 50 pound bag.
I knew I wasn't eating it enough. I just knew I wasn't getting into it often enough.
So he got 25 pounds. But the Amish owner was wonderful. They had a 50 pound bag. They just split it in half for us and said, same price per pound that we paid for the 50 pound bag.
Yeah, no problem.
Nutritional information. If you are buying a 50 pound bag of oats, the only thing that should be present on the bag should be oats. That's all that should be listed, where it says ingredients should be oats.
Right. One ingredient.
If you are buying processed foods, which you can buy in bulk, you're going to see a whole lot more ingredients. Our advice is do the same thing that you would do if you were standing in the grocery store. Say, you know what, I'd just really love to leave that. I'd love to read that ingredient label before I purchase it. Stand there in the store and look and see if it's got too much sodium for you, if it's got too much sugar for you, if it's got too much of anything for you, or if you see stuff that like nitrites and nitrates, I can't eat them. They make me violently ill. But I know to look for that on labels. Mostly that's used to cure meat, so that's not a problem for me anymore, right? Like being plant-based, I'm like, I never see nitrates or nitrates. But what I'm saying is know what your triggers are and know to look for them on the ingredients. Even though you're buying in bulk, you should be able to see the ingredients.
And that reminds me of another category that you want to consider too. If you have allergies, food allergies, you want to pay close attention to make sure that what you're buying in bulk isn't bringing foods into your home that you're allergic to. Also, if you have some dietetic restrictions, make sure that you're buying according to your diet as well.
Our next point, emergency preparedness. Buying in bulk is fantastic for emergency preparedness. I think all of us these days, and we've touched on this just a little bit earlier, you want to have a little bit more on hand. You want to have a few more ingredients on those shelves. You want to make sure that you've looked at boxes, bags, cans. Right now, I happen to know we are like really, and I mean really low on canned tomato products. So I've been looking for a deal. If I can't find a deal pretty soon, I'm going to hop in the car and I'm going to Aldi and I'm going to buy myself a couple of cases. Well, I can still get a couple of cases of tomatoes. But here's the thing, even with those, the magic number, 5 to 6 months. How many cans of diced tomatoes do I use in a month? You take that number, multiply it by 5 or 6, whatever the number, number of months you're looking for to have on your shelves, and that's what you're looking for. For us, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 cases. That's because a case is 12 cans of tomatoes or tomato sauce. It's going to be about 36 of those for 6 months.
Another thing you want to consider in buying bulk food is your transportation. How much room do you have in your vehicle, especially if you have to fill it with family members to carry items back? And these items weigh quite a bit. They can weigh quite a bit if you're buying a number of 50-pound bags, and they take up a certain amount of room. So you want to make sure that you're allowing enough space. Now, we have 2 small cars. I have a Honda Fit, and Hope has a Toyota Prius. But if we take one child with us, we can put one seat down in the back and have plenty of room for what we're buying. But we have to make sure that we're not going to overbuy and overfill the car. So far, we've been okay in doing that.
One of the reasons we're going to take one of the boys with us anymore is so Larry's still injured from his e-bike accident. And his arm doesn't work at all. And we're like, we're talking to our 15-year-old, like, you are going with us because you need to tote for your dad. So he helped carry everything out the car. Yet another reason why you might want to take friends, neighbors, or your children with you on this bulk buying expedition.
That's right.
All right, while we are talking about pantries, let's talk about FIFO. Anybody familiar with FIFO? FIFO is a method of organizing your products, and it stands for first in, first out.
Actually, what FIFO is, it's a product rotation system. It's a system that you put into place so you can maintain organization in that area of your home.
And freshness also. So here's how FIFO works. Organize your pantry just like it's a grocery store. You're going to have your baking section. You're going to have your canned goods section. You're going to have your canned vegetable section. You're going to have your condiment section. Those are, you stack like with like. Then FIFO, first in, first out, means when you come home from a trip, whether that be to the grocery store or wherever. Now, this works a little bit different if you got a 50-pound bag, all right? But if you have smaller quantities, let's say you got a couple of cases of tomatoes, it means that your new tomatoes you just walked in the door with, those are going to go at the back of the stack of tomatoes, and you're going to pull the tomatoes that have been in there for a few weeks or a few months, you're going to pull those forward so that you have room behind them to stack the new products. Why? Because it helps maintain freshness and it helps maintain rotation. Remember, our emergency pantry is also our working pantry, which means that we are constantly eating through what we're bringing home and putting on the shelves.
And you want to make sure that you're using, obviously, the oldest items first.
bet.
Now, if we get a 50-pound bag of oats, sometimes we divide that up into 1 or 2 gallon Ziploc freezer bags, and we'll put those on the shelf. But before we put those in, we write on it what is in there, what's the ingredient that we have in the bag, and what is the date that we purchased that from, in this case, from the Amish store. So we have a way of keeping track of how old the item is.
Yeah. Don't forget, once again, when it comes to your pantry, make sure that you're requesting a free copy of that workbook. It is the Pantry Stock Up Workbook, and it'll help you figure out 40 really great items you should make sure that you have on your pantry shelves. One of the things that's really great about a pantry is determining, especially when it comes to buying things in bulk. You compare what you're paying for those items in bulk to what you would have paid for the exact same product at a local grocery store. Now, we just did this recently where we took you to Walmart and compared the same items on the shelf at Walmart that we had just brought home from the Amish store. And we did all the calculations, and it was shocking what that price comparison was. Now, if you're curious how much money we saved and if we saved money by doing that experiment, the video is right over there. Go take a look.